But speaking of animated series and Tokyo,
Oh, yes.
Daniel
Yeah.
watched something by himself.
Yes, I did. I
Busy week, so no solo reviews for me. So Daniel, no pressure.
That's all right. But yeah, so I ended up watching the first half of Terminator Zero, which dropped on the 29th of August. Now, the reason uh, it dropped on the 29th, and if you're a hardcore Terminator fan, you probably know the answer, but I will tell you it's because that is Judgment Day, specifically August 29th, 1997. Uh, and the series basically it's in two different timelines. You've got everything going on in 1997, and then in the future in 2022. Um, so basically,
Which the year 2022, that kind of makes you wonder how long this was in development for.
yeah, probably probably 2 or 3 years or so. Yeah, um,
It was meant to come out in 2022.
maybe. Yeah, um, but the basically it's very similar to the first Terminator in terms of like the kind of the structure of the story. Actually, it looked like they were trying to combine like Terminator 1 and 2. What So basically what happens is uh there's a scientist named his name is Malcolm Lee, and he's in Japan. He's living there with his three kids. He's got two sons and a daughter, and he's created an AI called I'm trying to make sure I get the name of it right. Uh, Kuroko, I think Kuroko. And the reason Malcolm Lee has done this is because he knows that August 29th, 1997, that it is Judgment Day, because he's been having these dreams about it. And he knows that Skynet is about to come online and, end the world. Um, so he created Kokoro to try to prevent that from happening. So he's most of the time he's in this like antechamber talking to Kokoro, the AI, trying to convince her to save humanity. And the other parts of the movie or the show is we have obviously it's the time travel thing with the Terminator, where the Skynet sends a Terminator to 1997 to kill Malcolm Lee, and then the humans send their own protector, and I'm trying to remember her name. Is it? It wasn't. God, what was her name? I can't remember.
Let's see
Um,
here. To IMDb.
yeah, that's where I am right now. Uh, Aiko. I think it was Aiko.
Is it Heart? No.
No, that's I want to say that's the AI.
Okay.
Yeah, Kokoro. Yeah, that's
I think Kokoro is Japanese for heart.
Oh, okay.
So,
That makes sense.
yep.
Um,
First to the heart. Okay.
yeah,
So that was. Did you watch this dubbed or subbed, by the way?
I watched it dubbed. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Um,
so that must have been Rosario Dawson's character then.
yeah, that I recognized her voice. Yeah. Um, but yeah, Aiko is, I think that's her name, Aiko. She's sent back in time to protect Malcolm Lee, and but she knows about. It sounds like it's a little confusing. It sounds like she knows about Kokoro, and that whatever it is that Malcolm Lee's trying to do, it's not going to work. Um, and it's yeah, it's a little convoluted, and part of me wants to go and watch the second half of it just so I can maybe get some resolution of what's going on. But yeah, and then the other part of it is, of course, with his kids, where the kids go off, and then they they also have a nanny because, and I think that's Misaki is their nanny, and you find out something about her that doesn't make any sense given the level of technology in 1997. But it's kind of weird. It's in like an alternate timeline where there are like robots everywhere. Like it's a common thing for robots to be, you know, like store clerks and robot toys and things like that. And of
Okay.
course, it is set in Japan, so that might be part of it too.
That might just be 2007. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, and then so basically the rest of it is just like uh, it's sort of like the first movie where it's you know the Terminator chasing after the kids, and then trying to basically trying to get to the kids to get to Malcolm Lee, and it's because he's in this antechamber uh, talking to Kokoro, and of course the building he's in is like completely EM shielded, so like
Mhm.
no electronics are allowed to enter out. So and if the Terminator goes in there, he'll just get deactivated. Um, but yeah, sorry, I'm kind of all over the place with this review. It's a
So I'm going to guess that it's not being told chronologically.
it is, but it's like it's kind of like all you have all these different plot lines going, and it's kind of it's hard to kind of keep track of like who knows what, and why are they doing this, and what the real motivations are.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's why part of me wants to go and watch the second half, so maybe I can get some answers. But I will say it's kind of follows the typical problem with a lot of streaming shows where it's a very slow burn. That might be part of the problem. Um,
Gotcha. Now, does it have you inspired to watch the second half outside of scratching that itch? Like, is it enjoyable enough as you're watching it?
yeah, I mean it's the animation's really good. I mean it's done by IG Productions. They're the same studio that did the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex series. And I think they've done other. I'm trying to think of other shows they've done, but yeah, I like the animation, and it does have a you know, it feels like a Terminator story. Um, and
So it's not a lot like the last couple of Terminator movies we got.
No, no, it's not like that. No, especially Genesis. God, that movie was. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure fans of Terminator have probably already watched through the show and probably have their own opinions on it. You know, I mean, it's
You sound like you had an okay time, but not an amazing time.
yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I think part of my problem too is that the kids are very annoying,
Okay.
especially the oldest son. Like he's a real prick.
Mm.
Um, so it's kind of hard for me to root for them. Um,
Yeah.
and you
Which one of
know,
them does Timmy Oliphant play? Like, is he the scientist or is he the Terminator?
he's the Terminator.
Okay,
Yeah,
he'd be good at that.
he is. Yeah, yeah. The Terminator is actually really cool. He can shapeshift. He's not like the T1. He kind of like the T1000 where he could change his form, but he can. It's not like liquid metal where it's like he can manipulate his skin to change his like face and his hair and
So it's more like disguising than total command over his body.
right. Yeah, and there's a scene in there where like he gets some of his arm ripped off, and he puts like a little mini crossbow on his arm, and he shoots nails out of him.
Okay, so it sounds like they had the same sort of madcap inventiveness that the originals did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah. I actually watched a little interview with the showrunner, and he did say that the first movie was his favorite in the franchise. So
Okay.
yeah, and
Uh,
it definitely has shades of the first Terminator. Yeah,
That's an interesting opinion because you usually see it the other way.
yeah, yeah. It's usually the second one that's everybody's favorite. It's my favorite. If I'm being honest.
Well, cool. I'm glad that they didn't disgrace the franchise.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, it definitely feels, yeah, like I said, feels like a Terminator story. But I mean, you know, opinions may vary, I think.